I'm going to do an unboxing of... How cool is that, though? That just having an address like that. That is Kaila Kahiapo. His name's David. Kavika is his nickname. And that's when you see I don't know if it's the A-W-I or the W-I, but that's like in Holly, Eva. It's spelled with the W, but you pronounce it as a V, Kavika. That's a famous song as well. Peter Moon Band on the Sunday Mano'a CDs. Honolulu, Hawaii. I just wanted to do this just because getting something like that is just great. Then right there, mahalo. So we'll do a full unboxing and unenveloping. And this is actually like a greatest hits CD he just put out. I've got all his CDs. So I most likely have all the tunes. But these are the artists that you really should support. Buy a t-shirt, buy their CDs, an LP, because these are people who don't make a lot of money. But you may have heard of him. He actually shows up on the song Constellations by Jack Johnson. And he wrote the song Life in These Islands. It's a fairly, as far as Hawaiian music goes, I think you can come across that one pretty easy. He's also a minister, but he actually knew Gabi Pahanui, who, if you know anything about Hawaiian music, is the pillar upon which it is all based, more or less. The resurgence of, like, kind of slack key guitar, but also Hawaiian music, like writing Hawaiian songs, but like with, you know, normal, like kind of like, I hate to kind of narrow it down, but like writing songs like a singer-songwriter songs in the Hawaiian language or from Hawaiian perspective and stuff, you know, and using Gabi Pahanui and the Sons of Hawaii with Eddie Kamai, who's also a big part of that, kept it going. Gabi Pahanui was more of a raconteur, you know, like he'd be at the gigs drinking, and he you know, he died on a golf course, actually, 1980 or 81. And he had several sons, and tragically, all his sons, I think all of them. I don't know if BLA may be still alive, but Cyril died. Martin, I think, died as well, Martin Pahanui. But they were the first family of Hawaiian music, kind of. But David knew him as a young boy, and he's one of the leading slack key guitarist, and he's a minister as well, you know, just good family man. And he does this there's a thing on YouTube you can see. It's like the Kani Kapila, which is more or less Hawaiian for jam session. And I think it's like Waimanalo, which is the windward side of Oahu. That's where that is. Basically, Waimanalo is over the area where the Magnum PI house was and took place. And the lighthouse is over there. It's considered what always gets voted one of the most famous bridges, opposite side of the island from Waikiki. You go around by Hanama Bay, past Sandy Beach, and then you come around, there's the lighthouse up there. I want to say Makapu Lighthouse. And then the Magnum PI house is somewhere in there. I never saw it because it's, as you can see in the show, it's got the big gate stuff, but or even saw the driveway or anything. But then you keep going around, and I think that's Waimanalo's in there. And that's where you get a lot of the Hawaiians live, a lot of locals and stuff. And the beaches there are beautiful. You don't have the waves, you know, and you got the beach is very cool, and it's like a big sandbar, like the main beach there. The beach right under the lighthouse there. I went body surfing in there one day. Dude, you have no idea. I go in there, and I'm a pretty good body surfer, like catching the waves, knowing which one. Hawaii's a whole nother game, man. This thing picked me up. I was about 10 feet in the fucking air. and just you get thrown down, and I mean thrown down. I mean, I did one wave, and I was like, holy shit. I mean, I was a good 10 feet in the air, man, and that thing, you didn't just come down with the wave. It was like, it was brutal. But I'd do it again if I could right now. I'd love to go back there and body surf. I'd do it. I'd be a little bit more wise about it somehow. I don't know. I would just assess things a little better. I don't know. I'd still do it. Because I'm sad that I only did that one wave, but I was kind of in shock after. So this should be good. Pono Records. I was kind of hoping he had like talked about each song or something. But I just, you got to support these guys. These guys are just, they live real lives and they're very talented musicians, so they don't make a lot of money. Good stuff. The Nahoku Hanahomo Hano Awards. That's like the Hawaiian Grammys, which I'll say is more legitimate than the Grammys. That shit, dude. If you think the Oscars or any of that stuff matters, you're a bit of a fool. They actually had to pass a rule this year that you have to watch the movies for the people who vote for the Oscars. They actually passed a law or a rule in their little society that you have to have watched the movies. Point being, they weren't even watching. All the people who vote they didn't watch all the movies or all. So it's just a self-aggrandizement, as in they're just pushing an agenda, and more so recently, I'm sure back in the 70s and stuff, it probably was a little bit more legit, but still, you got to have. There was a lot of politicking and money behind it. The studios would push you. But it's just a joke. But this is a much smaller community, obviously, an industry, but it's still an industry. It's cast doubt on it. But yeah, East Side, Slack Key. Life in These Islands is on here. The Way It Is. Another Time. Kaulana Makapu. Makapu. You get the Makapu Sand Band. He's got another CD called Ook and Call Me Cousin. That's a good one. He's playing Ook, Slack Key Ook and stuff. It's a shame we never get to see these guys. I guess it's just not cost effective to come to Florida or anything. But some of them will play a lot on the West Coast. They're always going to Los Angeles and Seattle and stuff, and somewhat Vegas. So highly recommended. It's got its time. It's not what you put on if you got 40 people in your house at 8 o'clock on Friday, but maybe at 1 a.m. when half of them are passed out on the couch, or the next morning, or the next afternoon when you're just having your first couple frozen drinks or margaritas or whatever. That's when you hit this one. Well, that was fun, wasn't it?